Hey guys, what's going on? It's David here from Scizorxphlosion, coming at you guys with another deck profile. Today, it's another Dragon Majesty deck. It is Ho-Oh GX, Reshiram GX. Oh yeah, Reshiram is one of the new GXs from the Dragon Majesty set. It has 3 attacks, 2 attacks and a GX attack, and 180 HP. It's an awesome Pokemon. It's really strong, and it pairs really well with Ho-Oh. In the last format, I played a lot of Ho-Oh Volcanion EX. And I do miss Volcanion in here because you can ramp up Ho-Oh's damage and make it hit 210 or even make it hit 240 if you had a choice band attached, hit some of those high GXs. But we don't have Volcanion anymore. It has rotated. But we do now have Reshiram. So let's get on to this deck profile, guys. Support us on Patreon. That is www.patreon.com/Scizorxphlosion. And like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Scizorxphlosion. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started with this deck profile. I'm going to move the camera down just a little bit here. There we go. Alright, to start out, guys, we do play 3 copies of Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is one of the main attackers in this deck. Ho-Oh GX, by the way. Ho-Oh has 2 attacks and a GX attack. You've got, let's put these 2 down here. We've got Sacred Fire for a fire double colorless energy. This attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Do not apply weakness resistance for bench Pokemon. A little bit of chip damage there. We can start chipping away at our opponent's Pokemon if we have already used Phoenix Burn, which is the main attack, and maybe soften them up for a Reshiram coming up or another Ho-Oh, something like that. Then we've got Phoenix Burn, which is the main attack. 3 fires and a colorless. Does 180 damage. This Pokemon cannot use Phoenix Burn on its next turn. Really strong. Get a choice band attached there. You can hit in 210, so you can hit things like Zoroark for knockout. You can hit Golisopod for you can hit Golisopod for knockout since you have weakness on him anyway. But you do need that extra damage on choice band in order to get knockouts on things like Buzzwole GX and Lapras GX. Some of those 190 Pokemon that have just barely out of your range. But then we have Eternal Flame GX, which we do not use in this deck. You could use it if you wanted to, but I would rather use something else. It says, put 3 fire Pokemon GX or EX from your discard pile onto your bench. It's okay. It's not great. There is a way better GX tag in here that we need to use in this deck, rather than Eternal Flame. Next up, guys, we have 3 copies of Reshiram. Reshiram GX is the new GX out of the Dragon Majesty set, and honestly, it's probably one of the best GXs in the set. It's got 2 attacks and a GX attack, 180 HP, 2 retreat cost, weakness to water, and it has the attack Flame Charge for a colorless energy. Search your deck for up to 2 fire energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. This is very useful if you don't get Kiawe out on the first turn. If you go second, you can attach fire energy, use Flame Charge, then you'll have 3 energies. Next turn, you'll be able to attach one from hand and attack with Scorching Column or Vermilion GX. Scorching Column is a decent attack. It does, for 3 fires and a colorless, does 110 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, so it does at least 130. Choice band, you're hitting 160, and if they remain burned, you can take things out like Tapu Bulu GX or Tapu Lele GX, Rayquaza GX, which is seeing a lot of play right now. So Scorching Column can be a very decent attack. And then you have Vermilion GX, which is the biggest reason why we use this this card in this deck. 3 fires, colorless energy, does 180 damage, just like your Ho-Oh GX. And you get to attach up to 5 basic fire energies from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. This is amazing. This is essentially like playing 2 Kiawes at once and also dealing damage. So first turn, your favorite play is start Reshiram, get a Ho-Oh on the bench, go Kiawe. And then second turn, you want to be able to use Fiery Flint, which is another item card we play in this deck. Fiery Flint lets you search your deck for up to 4 fire energies and add them to your hand. So use Fiery Flint, get those 4 energies to the hand, Vermilion GX, take something out, and also charge up a Ho-Oh in the process. So that is one of your main combos in this deck. Really, really powerful play, and it's sometimes hard for your opponent to deal with it. 3 copies of Reshiram. Now, Reshiram and Ho-Oh are the main attackers of this deck, but in the end game, this deck can get kind of flimsy because you're committing a bunch of energies to 1 Reshiram and 1 Ho-Oh. So we need some little attackers that can hit high damage numbers and can also attack for little energy. So that's why I play a 1/1 line of Salandit Salazzle GX. This is the Salandit from Dragon Majesty, and I decided to play it over this one. Here, I have it here somewhere. There it is. Over the 70 HP one, just because of the attack for Call for Family. If you start this and you don't have a Kiawe or something like that, you can use Call for Family. It lets you search your deck for a basic fire or a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench. So you can get down a Reshiram or a Ho-Oh, get those ready to go. Maybe they'll knock out Salazzle on the next turn, and then you can come up, or Salandit, sorry. Then you can come up with Reshiram, Kiawe onto it, and then next turn start taking your knockouts. Dig Claws is decent, but it's something we don't really use. So we played this Salandit over the other. The other you could play if you wanted to, because it does have 70 HP. It's a little bit more HP for it, but the choice is yours. I decided to play the Call for Family Salandit from Dragon Majesty. Let's get those over just a tad here. Alright, and then, of course, a 1 copy of Salazzle GX. Salazzle GX is pretty awesome. In the end game, it can hit for some massive numbers. You've got 200 HP, 2 retreat cost, weakness to water, and you've got Diabolical Claws, which is the attack we're going to be using the most in this deck. For 2 fire energies, does 50 damage times the amount of prize cards you have taken. So if you've taken 4 prize cards, you're hitting 200 damage right there. You've taken 5, you're hitting 250, knocking out anything in the game. So the game is basically yours if they cannot take out your Salazzle. So this is a really, really good in-game Pokemon. Heat Blast can also be decent in the early game to 2-shot some things. 2 fire energies does 110 damage. Queen's Haze GX, we don't really get much chance to play that tag because we mainly want to rely on our Vermilion GX to attach our energies to our Ho-Ohs and other Reshirams. But Queen Haze is an option. Discard all energy cards attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. It is like Articuno GX's GX attack, except it only does it to your opponent's active Pokemon. So pretty strong, pretty strong. So a 1/1 line of Salazzle GX. And then we also have Victini Prism Star. This card is awesome. It's really, really good. It's a late game surprise attacker that your opponent may not be expecting. Well, I think most of these decks are playing Victini, so your opponent probably is expecting it. But anyway, it's got 90 HP, 1 retreat, which is awesome. So you can Guzma into it and then retreat for free back into a Ho-Oh if you need to. Weakness to water doesn't really matter since you only have a 90 HP. And then you've got the attack Infinity. For 2 fire energies, it does 20 damage for each basic energy in your discard pile. Then you get to shuffle those energies back into the deck. Pretty awesome. If they take out a Ho-Oh and a Reshiram, man, and you've already gotten maybe 2 energies in the discard pile after the fact that those 2 Pokemon have been knocked out, you're hitting 200 damage. Choice Band will take out anything. You can start ditching cards, ditching energies from your hand if you need to, and then shuffle them all back in with Infinity and also hit for some massive numbers. I've been able to get up to 240 damage with this card. It's pretty awesome. I mean, Victini is an awesome attacker. It recycles your energies if you need to, and then you can Kiawe once again, or Fiery Flint once again, whatever you need to do. Pretty awesome card, and it's a great one of in almost any fire deck. So 1 Victini there. And to round out the Pokemon line, guys, we play 3 copies of Tapu Lele GX. 3 copies because we need to get that Kiawe first turn. You need to be able to set up Kiawe onto your Reshiram or your Ho-Oh. If you don't, it could be a win-loss thing for you. But you can win some games without having to first turn Kiawe, but it is very important to get that first turn. So 3 copies of Tapu Lele, guys. And that's it for the Pokemon. Next up, we're going to go on to our supporter cards. 4 copies of Cynthia. Just your basic draw supporter for any Pokemon deck. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. Then we play 4 copies of Lily. Lily's just there because we need the maximum amount of draws we can get. You do discard a lot in this deck. You have the Fiery Flints and you have the Ultra Balls. Yeah, almost every card in here you get into your hand, you can almost immediately use. So Lily is very, very valuable in this deck. Even if she only gets you 2 cards, maybe those 2 cards are like Fiery Flint, Nest Ball, something like that. So Lily is pretty awesome. We just play the 4 for maximum draw with Cynthia. So that feels really comfortable to me. 3 copies of Guzma. You could up this to 4 if you like, but I feel like 3 is fine since we play so many copies of Lele. Just to target down those Pokemon, it's really good with Ho-Oh. You can target down specifically Pokemon, especially if you don't have a choice band. You could target down like Lele's and take them out with Phoenix Burn, or target down Rayquazas, or even the upcoming Bucephalon only has 180 HP as well. So target those down, KO them with Ho-Oh, and then move on to your next turn. Let's see here. Next up, we got, this is the last supporter, guys. 4 copies of Kiawe. Kiawe is an amazing card. It makes this deck. Without this card, this deck would not exist. But you've got 4 copies of Kiawe. It lets you search your deck for 4 fire energies and attach them to one of your Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. Your turn then ends. So your best first turns like go Reshiram on the active or Ho-Oh, either one. Lele for Kiawe unless you have it in your hand already, and then Kiawe to end your turn. Attach 4 energies to one of your Pokemon, and then maybe even get a fire attachment during the turn. That way you're already a leg up on the next turn for charging up your Ho-Oh or Reshiram. So Kiawe is an awesome card. Without this card, this deck would not exist. 4 copies of that, just so we have the best chance of getting in our first turn. That's why we also play the 3 copies of Lele. I'd rather play the 4 Kiawe than the 4 Lele. Just because Lele has other uses as well. So, but anyway, on to the item cards, guys. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, your standard search for any Pokemon deck. Discard 2 cards from your hand, and then search your deck for a Pokemon and add it to your hand. 3 copies of Nest Ball, because we need to get those Pokemon out as quickly as possible, especially things like your Ho-Ohs and Reshirams. Awesome to have this in your first turn with a Reshiram, and then you can bench a Ho-Oh and then go Kiawe and start attacking your energies and get all your plays rolling. Next up, 3 copies of Fiery Flint. Now, Fiery Flint is a new card from Dragon Majesty. That also helps make this deck with Reshiram. It says, you can only play this card if you discard 2 other cards from your hand. Search your deck for 4 fire energies, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So the obvious combo is Kiawe onto Reshiram, first turn. Second turn, use Fiery Flint, get 4 energies to the hand, then use Vermilion to attach up to 5 energies to one of your bench or to your Pokemon in any way that you like. So maybe get 4 on Ho-Oh, and then 1 on Victini, or 4 on Ho-Oh, 1 on Salazzle, or something like that. Something to be able to threaten your opponent. It puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, because not only do they have to knock out the Reshiram from the active, now they have to worry about Ho-Oh coming up and destroying them as well. So they're going to have to really play around those unless they want to lose, unless they want me to take a whole lot of prizes. So there we go, 3 copies of Fiery Flint. I did play 4 at first. I cut the 4th in order to add in the Salazzle line. I think I also cut a switch in there. I was playing 2 Switch as well. I just wanted some more attackers in order to mitigate my losses of my fire energies. That way I wouldn't have to commit 4 more energies to a Ho-Oh in the late game. I can just come up with Salazzle or Victini in order to close out the game. So, there you go. 3 copies of Acrobike. Acrobike's really good for thinning out our deck and also digging for those Fiery Flints or maybe those Kiawes. Maybe we whiff the first turn Lele in order to get Kiawe. So we have, 4 or 5 options in order to get it. We can Acrobike and hopefully either get a Lele, a Kiawe, or an Ultra Ball. Yeah, I guess just 3 options, not 4. But Acrobike can help us dig for those. Also, if you're playing with Victini, you're going up attacking with her, you can also try to get some more fire energies in the discard pile to make her attack do a little more damage. So Acrobike has multiple uses in this deck, and I really like it in here. It wasn't planned on when I first built the deck to add Acrobike in, but I changed my mind. 3 copies of Choice Band. Honestly, you could up this up to 4 because it's very important to have Choice Band attached to your Pokemon almost at all times. A lot of Pokemon in the format right now have 210 HP, with the exception of things like Rayquaza and Tapu Lele. Those are easy targets for your Ho-Ohs and your Reshirams on their Vermilion and Phoenix Burn. But Choice Band is there for those turns where you run into Zoroark, or you run into things like not Galiss. I always want to say Galissapod. That's my go-to 210. But Zoroark. Zoroark's probably the biggest thing that has 210 HP. We also have Magcargo coming out in the next set as well. He has 210, and Choice Band can help dispose of him easily. So lets you hit 30 more damage on EXs and GXs. 1 copy of Switch. This is for the Ho-Oh. And I feel like 1 copy is fine because you do play the 3 copies of Guzma as well. So I think Switch is fine. It works really well with Ho-Oh. In order to reuse Phoenix Burn, you put Ho-Oh on the bench, then Phoenix Burn resets, bring it back in the active, and then use Phoenix Burn once again. And to end off the item cards, guys, we got 1 copy of Rescue Stitcher. To get those Pokemon back that we have to discard early game, maybe we have to discard a Reshiram or a Ho-Oh, or maybe even one of the Salazzle or Salandit line. So that is good for getting those back. Alright, guys, brace yourself. We've got 5, 10, 15 fire energies. We need a lot of energies in order to do our attacks. I mean, Reshiram and Ho-Oh alone is 8 together, so that takes up most of these energies already. That only leaves you with 7 left in the deck. But that's good for getting Victini, and that's assuming that none of them are prized. I've had games where I've had like 4 or 5 of my prizes were fire energies. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. I'd Kiawe once, and then Fiery Flint, and then I'm out of energies. But I was able to work around it and take some prizes, because you take prizes quickly with this deck. You take prizes really fast. You get all your Pokemon charged up, and come in hot and heavy with those Vermilion GXs and your Phoenix Burn. I think this deck's really strong. In the late game, it can fizzle out sometimes, but it's fun. I really love Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh was one of my favorite decks last format with Volcanion EX, but Volk is gone, sadly. But we do still have Reshiram, and Reshiram is pretty awesome. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think this is a very competitive deck? I think this this deck actually got, not this version of the deck, this is my personal version, but there was a version of this deck that got second place, I believe, at a League Cup. It was the same one where a Lapras got first, but that was probably just a bad matchup for this deck. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think Ho-Oh Reshiram has a chance to compete? Do you think it's a powerful deck? Do you think it's trash? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. This is David from Scizorxphlosion, and we will see you guys all next time.